What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe here to break down another NBA slate. We got 11 games on the slate today. Really nice slate, especially coming off of a horrible three-game slate. I don't know what the NBA is doing to us, but we got 2 games, 11, 3 games, 11. It's crazy. But as always, we're going to break it down. I'm going to give you guys my slate plan, some plays I'm looking at from each game, maybe some little nuggets that you can use to sprinkle into your lineups as you build your lines today. If you guys new here, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. We're close to 100 subscribers, 10 away from 100. I definitely appreciate all the support and everything that I'm getting from everybody. Um, thank you so much. Just growing the channel, just trying to give out some information. And if you want more information and you want to join the crew, join the No Days Off DFS family, check down the link below for our Patreon. It is only $10 and you'll make that $10 back within your first week. Promise you, we got prize pick popping left and right. We hit pretty good last night on some prize picks, and if you want to get those picks, all you gotta do is subscribe to the channel as well. I drop daily prize pick YouTube shorts, and when you watch those shorts, I'm giving out winners, going 2-3, 3-3 on most of those plays every single day. I'm only putting out the best plays that I feel that are definitely going to cash, and those are for NBA. But we also got prize picks and things like that for NHL, esports, soccer, you name it, we got it. And then of course we have NASCAR starting up next month. You don't want to miss it for $10. You're getting a lot of information, and honestly, you cannot beat that around this industry at all whatsoever. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's break down this big slate. Gonna try to speed through it, not spend too much time on one game, things of that nature. Just give some nuggets that I see for each game as we go through it. First game on the dock, we got OKC going up against the Charlotte Hornets. I'm tempted to go ahead and drive up to Charlotte so I can go watch this game because, yeah, to be able to see my Thunder play and get themselves smacked and also see LaMelo ball out on them at the same time would be a plus and a win for me personally. This game right here, really, I have no interest on my Thunder side just due to the fact that we're playing horrible, too deep of rotations. I want to say that Williams, Kenneth Williams, he should be back today for the Thunder. If I'm not mistaken, he should have cleared protocol. Yeah, he's not even questionable anymore. So Williams is going to be back today. That's going to muddy up some of the rotations again. We just play way too many guys over on OKC side. Charlotte, I mean, this is a fast-paced team, but they have been looking better in the defensive standings over the past couple of games. Locking down teams and everything and whatnot. And like I said, my Thunder, they're just not too consistent in any way, shape, or form. So not anyone I don't look at on the Thunder side, but going over to the Charlotte side, LaMelo Ball is someone that I really have a lot of interest in for today, and I'm going to just give you guys a little nugget that I found when I was doing some research. So point guards going up against OKC over their last 4 games, Murray, Luka, Garland, Harden have all gone for 60 plus against the Thunder. Just tuck that away in your back pocket. At 8,600 to get 60 plus from LaMelo, and we haven't seen that in quite some time from Melo. We know that he can do it. He has a triple double upside when he's locked in. He's shooting his threes. I mean, he's been pretty consistent, hovering over 30, 35 fantasy points over his past couple games. But it's been quite some time since we've seen that 64, 50 outing from him in quite some time. And I definitely think that this might be the spot that we can actually get him in. If it's not going to be LaMelo, it could be Terry Rozier. We know Terry, he's going to get his. Even though the Hornets are back healthy and everyone's there, he still is putting up ridiculous fantasy numbers. 38, 44, 44, 51. So either of these guys, I don't hate them, don't mind them in the spot, but really I'm kind of keyed in on Melo just due to the fact that OKC is giving up a tremendous amount of points to the point guard position. Going over to the other side, I don't hate running it back with SGA. Like I said, I'm not really too interested in anybody from my Thunder, but if I did have to run anyone back, because I do know SGA, he can play up. And I want to say that the Hornets were the ones that actually drafted SGA, then traded him to the Clippers on draft night, if I'm not mistaken. So a little revenge factor we can play into this right here if you believe in those type of things and whatnot. The total for this game is sitting at a 223, not a bad total. So that's my little 2 cents for that one. Going over to the Lakers, going up against Orlando. This game right here, the Lakers, I cannot believe that they lost that game to the Pacers. That was sad, and honestly. And then for the fact that Orlando, one of the bottom teams in the league, are only favored to lose by 5. The Lakers are only favored by 5. They benched Westbrook in that last game, which it has me giving some interest into LeBron James just for the fact of we know they're not going to bench Bron. Bron's going to be out there. He's going to do his thing. He's the only person that I ever have any interest in from the Lakers, just to the fact of he's the best player of our freaking generation. He's going to go out there. He has triple double upside anytime he is on the court. And if Westbrook is on a short leash, we do know that playmaking that's going to be in the hands of LeBron now. If Russ is going to be riding that bench a little bit longer and things of that nature. So from the Lakers side, I definitely look at LeBron James. But other than that, I'm not really looking at anybody on the Lakers side. They're just too iffy to mess with or play around with. But going over to Orlando side, one player that I do have interest in, Jalen Suggs. He went back into the starting lineup last game and played 34 minutes, dropped 35.75 fantasy points, and did not really see any price increase at all. Went up 100, $100. That's it. So at 4,800, if you're going to give me that production, and we do know that we have consistently attacked the Lakers with opposing guards, this could be a spot for Cole Anthony. But Cole Anthony at 6,700, he's just been too inconsistent. And then with Suggs being back and the usage that Suggs has, I want to say he had like a 20 to 25% usage rate when he was in the starting lineup with them. This is definitely a spot that I'm going to want to go back to playing Suggs, especially for that discount and that price tag. I love that. Really, especially on such a big slate. Let's just fit in some of these other big name plays that we want to get to today. Other news is Wendell Carter Jr. He is expected to be back, so that big performance that Mo Bamba had last time out, I don't see him doing that again here, especially due to the fact that Wendell Carter, he is going to be back. If you want to take a GPP flyer on that, go ahead, 5,400. There's some other spots. There's another center on the slate that's around that price range that I'd rather pay for instead of going there. But outside of Jalen Suggs, not too much interest in this game for anyone else. Going over to the Clippers, going up against Philly. We got a 213 total, pretty low total for this game. I have no interest in anybody. Marcus Morris is questionable, Batum is questionable, and Seth Curry is questionable. All questionable stags that we're going to want to pay attention to, because if these guys are going to be out, some other people might be able to step up. If Morris is out, then Reggie Jackson, Eric Bledsoe, of course, and Terrence Mann, those guys are going to be leading the team, get usage, all those sorts of things. Especially if Batum is out, then Luke Kennard, he's going to see a bump in his minutes and things like that. But the Clippers, they're bad, they're horrible. There's too many games on the slate for me to even look at any of these guys over here. And then Joel Embiid. We just seen that Joker put up like 93 fantasy points going up against this same Clippers team. He just dropped in 27 minutes 77 fantasy points. If you don't think that that Joel Embiid can do the same thing that the Joker can do, you're tripping, you're bugging. I want whatever you're on. If I have any interest from anybody in this game, it's going to be JoJo. I can see him smashing this spot right here. We do know that the Clippers, they're horrible at guarding opposing centers. Like I just said, we just literally watched the Joker go off in this exact same spot. So if I have any interest in anybody from this game, it will only be Joel Embiid and nothing more, nothing less. Pay attention to that injury news if you want to get some value for some of the guys, if you want some value in that game. Going over to the Boston Celtics going up against the Portland Trail Blazers. Another game I really don't have too much interest in this game. There was one little nugget that I did realize and notice was that, where are you at? Robert Covington. He's actually been pretty consistent over his past several games. For 5,900, he's been pretty steady, dropping you over that 25 fantasy points over his last 5 games. Not someone that I don't hate. So if he's like a last resort, someone that you fall into, I don't hate it in the spot. And also, Boston has been bleeding points to the power forward position, which is a position that Rocco is going to play. So if you land on there tonight, I don't hate it at all in any way, shape, or form. Tatum. He should be able to do his thing in this spot, but once again, between Tatum and Brown, it's just so flip-floppy with who's going to do what or anything in this with this offense. They play so slow, half-court offense. It's you get yours, I get mine type thing. So, not really going to look there. Marcus Smart, he's questionable. Let's see, is he? He possibly could return, but there's no telling if he's going to be back. Keep an eye out for that, because if Marcus Smart is out, then we do know Dennis Schroeder, he's going to start again, 6,700. We have attacked Portland with opposing guards. And this is definitely a spot that I could see us going back to if you want to go to that spot. Going down to Robert Williams. Robert Williams, he was out last game for personal reasons. He's had a baby. So if you believe in narratives and you believe in coming off of having giving birth to one of your children, things of that nature, definitely I can see you going here to Robert Williams for the baby, if that's what you want to call it. Opposing centers going up against the we have attacked Nurk because Nurk is not the best defender in the world. He can give up and bleed points to opposing defenders. With Robert Williams being back, that's definitely going to take me off of Al Horford. I'm not going to be looking there at that spot to play at all in this position. Going over to the next game, we got the Miami against the Atlanta Hawks. If you watch that game for Miami, then you can agree with me when I say the refs are bullshit. That was a horrible call for a ref who had nothing to do with who Jimmy was talking to give him a second technical foul and eject him. There was no reason that Jimmy should have got ejected. He was animated. He felt like he got fouled. So what? These guys do this all the time. And honestly, the refs, they have too many egos sometimes for me. I hate watching that. Definitely messed up a pretty good night, in my opinion, for myself, for some prop plays, and also for DFS standing as well. But with that being said, Jimmy Butler, I expect him to be back, and this is going to be a really good matchup for him going up against the Atlanta Hawks, who we know we have attacked continuously before with opposing guards, opposing forwards, and things of that nature. Trae Young is not going to be able to stick with Jimmy Butler. Neither is anybody that they're going to try to put on Jimmy. Another thing that we got to pay attention to is whether or not if Clint Capella is going to be in or out, because he's currently questionable. If Capella's out, Bam should have his way with Okongwu. Like, I don't see a combo being able to match up with Bam. Granted, they're both going to be about the same in stature and size, but Bam is the more experienced player, and this is definitely a spot that I can see, especially without Capella. Centers they have been having their way going up against the Hawks. And Trae Young, he's 10-3. I really don't necessarily like him in this spot right here. Just due to the fact that there's some other guards on the slate that I'd rather give more attention to and possibly play over him. So not someone I'm looking at, but the one player that I am on for the Hawks is going to be Hunter. At 4,800, this guy, he's been consistent over his past 2 games. Since he's been inside of the starting lineup, in 35 minutes, he dropped 35 fantasy points. 34 minutes, 32.25 fantasy points. Going against Milwaukee and Minnesota. This spot right here, going up against the Miami Heat, I'm not scared of PJ Tucker necessarily. I think that he could still definitely get that outside shot. He is kind of reliant on his scoring, but he can do some of those other things, rebounding and get you those defensive stats. So one player that I will have some interest in from this game will definitely be Hunter, just due to the savings that he is going to give me at that spot. Oh, and Jimmy Butler, of course, just due to the fact that he's back. And then pay attention to the news for Capella if he's going to be in or out. Those two guys definitely going to be some interest. Going over to the next game, we got the Toronto Raptors taking on the Washington Wizards. This is expected to be a pretty tight game, pretty close game. And like I said last time when I broke down the slate, Toronto, they're running a really tight rotation. It's like Fred VanVleet and Siakam, they're seeing like almost 40 minutes a game. That's playing majority of the daggone game. So these are guys that definitely have some interest in, especially in a spot going up against the Washington Wizards, who we do know they can play defense, but they don't play lockdown defense necessarily. And Siakam, he has a pretty decent matchup here going up against the Washington Wizards, who we have attacked continuously at the center position. He's bouncing in between that power forward and center spot. This also is going to give me some interest in Precious Achiuwa and Bouchard. Both those guys, they're seeing over 30 minutes a game. Uh, Chris Boucher, he's definitely doing his thing in 34 minutes, dropped 38.5 fantasy points. It seems like he's starting to get that longer leash that we've been wanting for him to get for quite some time in the NBA. Precious, he didn't do too hot last time out in 33 minutes, dropped 17.25 fantasy points, but I definitely wouldn't mind going back to him, especially due to the fact of we've attacked centers in this spot going up against Washington Wizards continuously throughout the season, and I don't see any reason to not, attack him here again with Precious, Boucher, and Siakam. Of course, if I got to go with one of them, it's going to be Precious just due to the fact that if he's 4,600, he is much cheaper. This is a GPP play just because he hasn't been quite consistent, but the matchup, it just screams, he's in such a good spot right here. And then Freddie V, the guy, he's playing, 40, yeah, nothing but 40 minutes a game. We know what he can do. He was coming off of those big games where he was dropping 54, 60, 57 fantasy points. This could definitely be that type of spot. We know that this game is going to be up and down in Washington. They've been bleeding points to opposing point guards over the past couple games. Um, you know, giving up a lot of points. And I wouldn't hate a small mini stack of Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam at this spot. And then maybe if you wanted to get a little crazy with it, running it back on the other side with Bradley Beal, this is not a bad spot for him. If Gary Trent Jr. misses again, this would be another one of the defenders sitting out. I don't see OG Anunoby trying to stick with Bradley Beal, and Bradley Beal is one of those top guards in the league. Uh, at 8,700, I don't hate it, don't mind it. Coming off of two pretty decent games where he's dropped over 30 fantasy points and then close to 50 fantasy points the last time that he was out there on the slate. So definitely a spot I don't hate paying up for Bradley Beal. So yeah, don't hate it, don't mind it. The total for this game should have been at 218 total. That's not bad. Not bad, not bad at all. All right, moving on to the next game. We got the Chicago Bulls taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. This total is sitting at a 227 total, and the Bucks are expected to literally blow the Bulls out of the water. We do know that they're still missing Zach LaVine and they are missing Lonzo Ball. Alex Russo, he made his return back last game. He played 23 minutes, so didn't do bad in those 23 minutes, but he is a player I have some interest in if I do land onto him as a last resort, last play, shove him in there. We do know that, like I said, he can stuff the stat sheets, rebounding, assisting. That's defensive stats. They're going to come back. He's going to get his steals and blocks. And then, of course, we do know that he can score if he has to. On the other side, I really honestly don't have any interest on anybody from the Bucks side. This is kind of one of those games that I'm kind of want to cross out just because it's such a large spread. And, yeah, I mean, they even priced up Dosunmu. He's probably up to 6,100 now, and yeah, the guy's been balling, but I'm not gonna pay that much for a guy who's shown some inconsistencies prior before, and is not someone that I have high on my radar with some of these other plays on the slate for today. Going over to the Brooklyn Nets, going up against the San Antonio Spurs. This total in this game right here is a 235 total, one of the higher totals on the slate, and I have a lot of interest in this game. DeJounte Murray should be able to get whatever he wants in this game. All right, the Nets, once again, they play no defense at all whatsoever. We know this. We've been saying this. Claxton, he is currently questionable. If he is out, nope, he is expected to play. He isn't expected to play. Perfect. So Claxton is not expected to play. That puts me prime on LaMarcus Aldridge. Even if Dajay Sharp, even if he starts, Aldridge is still seeing some big minutes. He played 32 minutes going up against Washington and dropped 43 fantasy points. This is also a revenge factor game that we can go ahead and say this is going to be the first time Aldridge gets to play going up against the Spurs. So I have a lot of interest here. We do know that the Spurs, they can give up points to opposing centers. Even though Jakopoto, he's been doing this thing out there, and I do have some interest in him on the other side. But going from this game, I like LaMarcus Aldridge. I like DeJounte Murray. And then if you want to feel a little, you know, you want to stack it a little bit. I can see you going with Patty Mills. Last time that he played the Spurs, I want to say this was on January 9th. He did drop over 30 fantasy points, but that game was also without Kyrie, so let's keep that in mind. With Kyrie being back, he is still seeing pretty decent minutes, so I don't hate the play here in this spot if you were to land on it. But my primary focus is going to be on LaMarcus Aldridge, DeJounte Murray, and then if I'm going to decide if I'm going to play between Kyrie Irving or Harden, one of these two guys, of course, with KD out, they're going to be doing everything. This is a pretty decent spot for them. The Spurs, they haven't been the defensive Spurs that we're so used to in years past. I haven't been seeing that lockdown defense and things of that nature that we were so used to back in the past. So I'm not going to be too scared of the defense here. Plus, it's Kyrie and it's freaking James Harden. They can do whatever they want out there on the court and, you know, put up some scores with the best of them. Going over to the Memphis Grizzlies taking on the Denver Nuggets. This game right here, Ja Morant, he's again without Desmond Bain and Kyle Anderson and Dylan Brooks. So it's going to be the Ja Morant show. I don't hate him in this spot. Definitely think at 9,300. That'll get me off of Kyrie. And last time out, since it was the Ja Morant show, he dropped 67 fantasy points, 33 points, 14 assists, 8 rebounds. He was going off, stat sheet stuffer, going up against the Bucks. And I like him once again in this spot right here. He's going to need to do everything that he can in order to keep him in this game with the Denver Nuggets. I don't hate him at all. But I'm gonna say I'm definitely gonna still be looking at my guy Contra. He got the start last time and he definitely delivered. Was great value. A lot of people they were on Melton, but you know we were on Contra at 32 minutes. He dropped 24% of fantasy points. He paid. He was pretty much value. I'm putting it like that. He was 3,600. He hit the value. He hit what we needed. He let us fit in some of the other sets and stuff like that. And I don't hate going back to him again in this spot right here. You can go to Melton if you think that he's the better GPP play. I don't hate that outlook at all. But for me personally, I'm going to be on my man Contra and definitely on some John Morant, deciding between what guard I want to pay up for. If I'm paying up for Murray or if I'm going to pay up for Ja. And then of course the Joker. He's coming off of a 93 fantasy point game. Oh my gosh, he destroyed the Clippers. Went off. I want to say it was double overtime game, and he just looked amazing out there. Like I say all the time whenever I talk about the Nuggets, it's the Joker, nothing else. I'm not really looking at anybody else from that team. Denver and Utah. This will be a quick one. I really have no interest in anyone here. Kate Cunningham, he's looking horrible out there. Really, just sorry. Donovan Mitchell, he's still out. Rudy Gobert, he got downgraded in the middle of the day. So with Rudy being downgraded to that questionable tag, I definitely could see this being Azuki B getting the start, and then if not Azuki B, then where are you at? Pascal. I can see him going out there getting a start. He might actually be able to match up pretty good in stature with Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart, and Kelly Olynyk in them of that nature. So I can see this being a Pascal game. But then also Rudy Gay, he is back, so I can see Rudy Gay getting some decent extra run if Rudy Gobert is to be out, which I am expecting, especially any midday downgrade. It typically leans into that realm of, hey, they're probably going to be out on today. So besides that, I don't have any interest in anyone except for my boy Joe Ingles. He should be starting once again. He paid off his price tag last time he was out. He dropped 28.25 fantasy points in 31 minutes going up against the Houston Rockets, which shockingly they actually lost that game too, by the way. Really, really shocking. The Utah Jazz, they haven't been looking too good lately, but I'm definitely going to go right back to the Ingles well. And accidentally, I just gave you guys a pretty solid core for some decent value plays, especially if you're looking at Contra, Ingles, and Suggs, and then figuring out who you want to pay up for. I'm trying to tell you, do not sleep on LaMarcus Aldridge at the center position. This is really not bad right there. I don't hate that at all. And then at the power forward position, I'm about to give you another value play. So this is, dang, I'm partially giving out some pretty good nuggets right here. Pretty good nuggets. If you guys made it this far into the stream. Um, Before I go down to break down the last game on the slate, let me go ahead and remind you guys, if you guys want to join the No Days Off DFS family, check down the description below for the link for our Patreon. It is only $10 and you'll make that back within your first week. We got it popping with the prize picks, NBA, NHL, all those cores. NASCAR cores are going to be coming. Esports, we're dropping stuff for that as well. We're doing pretty good in all these sports and stuff like that. For $10, like I said, you make it back, no problem. Definitely one of the cool DFS fans to be a part of, and we're doing our thing, slowly growing, one member at a time. No egos, nothing like that of that nature. So definitely, if you guys want to get down with us, check the link down in the description below for that link to go ahead and hit that sign up. All right, let's go ahead and break down this last game on the slate. We got the Houston Rockets taking on the Golden State Warriors. Golden State, they threw a monkey wrench at us last night. I was expecting Kuminga to get run last night, and Kuminga did not get run. Kuminga played like 2 or 3 minutes into the second half and then was benched. 15 minutes, didn't really get to do much. 3 fouls, but that was it. But I mean, other than that, with Draymond Green and Otto Porter being out, the guy, he was doing so much. But I was shocked. I was honestly shocked that he got benched. But another slate, another day, and I'm going to be back on the Kuminga train. Going up against the Houston Rockets, I expect the Warriors to possibly be able to blow them out. But, once again, blowouts are never a guarantee in the NBA. The total right now is sitting at a 229. It's definitely one of the higher totals on the slate. Steph Curry, he can come out here and he can go nuclear. Kevin Porter Jr. on the other side, he can come out and go nuclear. Christian Wood, he can come out, he can go nuclear. There's no telling. This game has game stack potential written all over it. I can see you going a couple different ways with this game. Otto Porter, Christian Wood, Steph Curry. Um, with Klay Thompson being out, that puts Andrew Wiggins back into play because whenever Klay is out, Andrew Wiggins plays a whole heck of a lot better. Deshaun Tate, last time he played this team, he went off in this spot right here. Kevon Looney, we know centers have been dominating the Houston Rockets. So there's so many different plays that we can go to in this game. But right now, I'm kind of on Kuminga just because of the value, 4,900. I do expect the Warriors to hopefully be able to handle this game. I don't hate this spot for him, and then especially he's a young guy, so he will get run in the event that the game does blow out, like I am hoping that it will do. In this position. All right, guys, that's going to be my breakdown and my thoughts on today's slate. Give you guys a couple of nuggets. Gave you a pretty decent core that you can go ahead and start your lineups with, or some different plays that you can go ahead and plug into your lines if you are interested and going ahead and rocking out that core. If you want to get my full core for tonight, go ahead, sign up down in the description below for that link for the Patreon. It's only $10, and you will make it back within your first week. If you enjoyed the breakdown that I gave, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like I said, we're only a couple subscribers short from reaching 100. It's a small milestone to some, but it's a big milestone to me, especially just starting this month and being able to put out this content and people enjoying it and everything. Drop a like for you, boy. Talk to me down in the comment section. I'll see you guys in Discord.